One terrible, profound question has haunted humanity since the dawn of thought. It's a shadow that touches both our greatest joys and our deepest sorrows. A riddle that emerges in every cradle and at every grave. It lurks in triumph and rises from rubble, an ancient, unyielding paradox. Why do bad things happen if God is good and all-powerful? Why does a world supposedly crafted by a benevolent architect contain so much apparent cruelty and chaos? If God is all-powerful, all-knowing, and perfectly good, then whence evil? This isn't a mere philosophical game. It is the raw, visceral cry of a parent at a child's bedside, the bewildered silence after a natural disaster, the gnawing ache of injustice. The world is saturated with pain, violence, and catastrophe. This is not an abstract puzzle. It is a visceral presence, coiled around the human heart, demanding our attention. We will not turn away. We will march toward this source of suffering, not with platitudes, but with sharp tools forged by millennia of debate. Here are 10 essential facts to frame the problem of evil and suffering. Our goal is not to conquer this reality with a single magical answer because no such answer exists. Instead, we seek clarity, not a neat solution. We strive for order amid chaos. We will name the parts, trace the history, and respect the depth of this profound challenge. Think of this video as a map, a guide to the treacherous terrain so you are not unarmed or alone. This project is cathedral-sized, a structure of meaning in an earthquake zone. We are building a framework of understanding because even a single logical thread can hold a framework of hope when the ground beneath us is shaking. Fact 1. Theodicy. Literally, the justice of God. The term was coined by the philosopher Leibniz, but the task is ancient, stretching back through thinkers like Augustine to the biblical book of Job. It is the formal attempt to defend God's goodness and omnipotence in the face of evil. It's a serious courtroom of reason, not denial or dismissal. When a family's faith is shaken by tragedy, the wrestle that follows is a form of theodicy. Philosophy attempts a bridge between weeping earth and silent heavens, insisting that our questions are valid and deserve a rigorous hearing. But we must be clear. A theodicy offers an explanation, not an excuse. It defends that reality is meaningful, not a cruel joke. It does not erase the pain of a single tear. It simply argues that our tears are not the final word. We bring light into darkness, courageously. Fact 2. Moral evil is human-caused harm. Natural evil is impersonal catastrophe. Moral evil includes the deliberate cruelty of war or the calculated betrayal of fraud. Natural evil manifests in the terrifying indifference of an earthquake or the slow, relentless progression of a disease. Good analysis demands that we distinguish them clearly. The free will defense can speak to moral evil, but it falls silent before the tragedy of a toddler swept away by a tsunami. We confront two separate dangers, and our responses must differ. We meet malice with a call for justice and restraint. We meet nature's fury with resilience, mitigation, and careful preparation. Of course, the lines can blur. Human negligence can amplify a hurricane's devastation, turning a natural event into a moral catastrophe. But holding the distinction helps us focus our efforts where they matter most. Fact 3. God grants genuine freedom. Love and virtue cannot be coerced. Why? Because forced goodness has no moral worth. Think of a heartfelt apology versus a programmed script. Only one has the power to mend a broken relationship. A world of puppets, perfectly behaved but without will, would be sterile and meaningless. True goodness must be chosen. But this very freedom risks evil. It is the profound shadow cast by the light of choice. Every meaningful moment in our lives hinges on this reality of real alternatives, the fact that you could have done otherwise. Yet the cost is appalling. The atrocities of history serve as a constant, harrowing test of whether freedom truly justifies its price. The free will defense is powerful, yet it remains morally wrenching. We are left holding a paradox at the very heart of our moral landscape. Fact 4. Freedom may help explain why evil exists, but it doesn't fully address the separate, deeply personal problem of why we must suffer. This leads us to the idea of soul-making. This isn't a justification for evil, but a description of a possible purpose behind adversity. It's the belief that struggle can refine us, forging virtues like courage, patience, empathy, and wisdom that might otherwise remain undeveloped. In this view, the world is a training ground where setbacks can become catalysts for growth. But we must be cautious. This is a description of potential, not a prescription for harm. It never justifies abuse or excuses inflicting pain. Soul-making suggests that in a world with hardship, we are given the opportunity to develop a depth of character that a life of ease could never produce. Fact 5. The soul-making Theodicy proposes that our world is not a finished paradise, but a gymnasium for the soul. Here, virtues are forged in the fires of adversity. Compassion, for instance, isn't an abstract idea. It grows by encountering real pain and making the conscious choice to offer empathy. Perseverance is born not from uninterrupted success, but from the cycle of failure, reflection, and the will to try again. Think of it as a micro-narrative we live out daily. A setback forces us to pause, to understand what went wrong, to repair the damage, and in doing so, we build a deeper resilience we couldn't have gained otherwise. Difficulty becomes the training ground. In a world without challenge, virtues like courage and compassion would remain dormant, untested possibilities. However, this perspective faces a formidable objection. Much of the world's suffering appears gratuitously destructive, offering no discernible path to growth. It's crucial to set a boundary here. Not all pain leads to growth. Trauma without support, community, or the tools for healing can simply break a person. What virtue is forged in an infant's agony? What strength is built from a genocide that erases a people? Does the potential growth of a few justify the utter devastation of many? This question is of terrifying weight, and intellectual honesty demands we never dismiss it. Fact 6. The privation theory of evil. Championed by thinkers like Augustine, this view argues that evil isn't a real, substantive thing in itself. Instead, it is the absence or corruption of a good that ought to exist. The classic analogy is darkness. Darkness has no substance. It is simply the absence of light. Evil, in this sense, is a parasite. It distorts, subtracts, and corrupts what is already good and whole. Sickness is a lack of health. A lie is a void where truth should be. Rot is the decay of sound wood. It doesn't create, it only spoils. This reframes our ethical task. We are not fighting a rival power equal to God. We are called to be agents of restoration. Our work is to fill the void, bring light, and heal the wound. If evil is parasitic, we fight it by building, by cultivating order, and by practicing care. This lens doesn't erase the pain of concrete loss. It doesn't explain away a child's suffering, but it does give us a mission. It transforms courage from mere combat into the sacred act of restoring the good. Fact 7. Plantinga shows that God and evil are not logically incompatible. If free creatures are great goods, God cannot force them always to choose good. Making free beings who never do wrong is like making a square circle. Possibly, in any world with genuinely free agents, someone would do wrong. Thus, the logical problem collapses. Coherence preserved. Freedom underwrites love, courage, and real moral worth. The very heights of the good imply the risk of depths of evil. Moral evil is the terrible cost of a world with persons, not puppets. Fact 8. Skeptical theism, humility about our limits of knowing. Like a child misreading a needle, we may misread cosmic goods and reasons. We see threads, not the whole design spanning millennia and billions of lives. History shows apparent chaos hides deeper order beyond first glance. Perhaps God's reasons outrun our cognitive reach without voiding compassion. Next we ask, what if divine power persuades rather than coerces? Here comes fact 9. God's power is persuasive, not coercive. Love guides, lures, and influences, but does not puppeteer. Agency is everywhere, from atoms to minds. In such a dynamic world, natural disorder and wrong choices are inevitable. Here, God is seen as one who endures suffering with creation, working not by force, but by loving persuasion. The struggle against evil is a shared divine aim of human cooperation. God provides direction and the lure toward goodness, and waits for our yes. Fact 10. Hope and compassion, eschatology, and the pastoral now. The current world is not the final word. The long arc bends toward justice, transformation, and redemption. Not cheap optimism, a hard-won hope that sustains endurance. When grief is fresh, people need presence and promise more than theories. Compassion is love made concrete, pushing back the darkness today. Hope for tomorrow fuels compassion now, and compassion now previews tomorrow's hope. 10 truths for understanding. 10 tools for enduring. These are your guides for courageous navigation through life's depths. Wrestle with them. Sort them. Test them against your life. Find a deeper sense of your place in the cosmos. What resonates? What falls short? Where does your experience lead? Engage. Think it through. Share. Between awareness of terrible suffering and longing for ultimate good, the dialogue continues. Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's learn together. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.